of all, let's thank God the Almighty who has given us mercy and blessing so we can all gather on this special occasion, webinar on interregional inequality in Indonesia. On this occasion, I would like to thank Professor Kataoka, Bapak Leonard, and Bapak Oswar for your time, availability, and dedication to participate in this webinar conducted by the Center for Planners Development, Education and Training, Ministry of National Development Planning. This PusbinTalk webinar series is regularly held by the CPDET as the commitment of our ministry to disseminate planning development issues and policy to the public. Ladies and gentlemen, before starting the program, let us invite Bapak Rikkyo Adioso to deliver his opening speech for today's webinar. For Bapak Rikkyo Adioso, the floor is yours.
Oke, thank you, Celita. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Ohayo gozaimasu, Kataoka Sensei. First of all, we would like to express our gratitude, especially our distinguished Sensei or Professor Kataoka Sensei from Rikkyo University for being with us for the tomorrow discussion. As well as also I would like also express our thank you very much Pak Leo Tambupolon and Pak Oswar, and the both of them is the chief of planners in Bappenas. And then also I would like also appreciate for the attending of all of the participants PusbinTalk. As explained by the Celita, PusbinTalk actually is a forum that to design for sharing and exchanging information and knowledge, as well as to discuss about the issues that being categorized as a new, hot, and important issues that to be discussed among our planners, both in the central and local government. Every 2 months, we conduct the PusbinTalk. The topic can be mostly ranging from the planning, development, monitoring, evaluation, strategic planning, or other topic that related with the national development planning, such as the mitigation, disaster mitigation, local economic resources development, maybe also the SDGs, as well as other topics that related with our priority of the national development planning. In the future, we would like also to encourage all of the planners, especially coming from the local government, to be in the speaker or to be in the discussion, to express or to share about their works, their experience, as well as their ideas to share among the planners in central and the local government, that we can enhance our knowledge. And then finally, we can increase our capacity in how we view and how we can equip with our knowledge with the future development. And finally, Puspindiklat and Bappenas, or CPDET, now is developing the new scheme and the new program to increase our capability among the planners. Especially in this year, we are starting with the on-the-job training or staff enhancement. Staff enhancement is one of the non-classical training that we are sending the people or the planners to have the experiencing knowledge experiment into the working days activities in this certain institution, both in domestic and overseas institution, especially also in universities. And one thing that we are also now developing the new scheme of the degree programs, especially with the Kataoka Sensei in Rikkyo University. Starting next year, we are promoting about the Master Regular Plus, meaning that the master will be had 3 semesters in Indonesia and another one semester in Japanese university. And among them is Rikkyo University. So again, thank you very much, Kataoka Sensei, for being a participant in our programs. And of course, we also would like to encouraging, especially in the local planners, to participate or engage in our program in the future, because we are not only depend on our budget, because we are also welcoming the sharing or cost sharing budget with the local government as well as other institutions. So again, thank you very much for participant, especially all of the participants on this morning discussion, as well as Kataoka Sensei, Pak Leo and Pak Oswar for participate and to be in discussion for this morning. Thank you very much. Have a nice discussion, and we will conduct the PusbinTalk next year as soon as we have the new topic. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sehat untuk semua. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Pak Rikkyo, for the opening speech. So, Bapak Ibu, after this, we will have Pak Oswar session as the moderator. But before that, we would like to also say thank you for all of the participants who joined us from YouTube. If you are still joining us from YouTube and want to change, we still have room in the Zoom, so please kindly just join us from Zoom so that later we will have a discussion on Q&A, and you can raise your hand directly to Pak Oswar and Pak Leo and also Professor Kataoka through the Zoom meetings. And after this, Bapak Ibu, our team will also distribute the attendance list link through the chat room. Please just kindly fulfill that link so that later you can receive the certificate by joining this webinar. And for today, we will have Pak Oswar. Pak Oswar, are you ready for being the moderator, Bapak?
Yes.
Yes, okay. I would like to introduce Pak Oswar. Pak Oswar is perencana ahli utama or chief planner from Bappenas, Ministry of National Development Planning. Pak Oswar received his master in urban and regional planning, Graduate School of Public and International Affairs from the University of Pittsburgh, and continued his study to PhD in Public Economic from the University of Indonesia in 2006. And currently, Pa Oswar is serving also as the Deputy Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Housing and Urban Development Institute Indonesia, and also Deputy Chairman of the Board of Directors Dana Mitra Lingkungan Foundation Indonesia. So for today's webinar will be led by Pak Oswar, and we will also listen to Professor Kataoka lecture on interregional inequality in Indonesia, and then we would like to continue by Pak Leonard lecture, and then after that we will continue to the Q&A session. So for Pak Oswar, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody, and allow me to say hello to Professor. Is my voice is okay?
Yes, it's clear, Bapak.
Okay.
Yes.
So good morning, Professor Mitsuhiko Kataoka. This is the first time I meet you, so welcome to our webinar. And then also good morning to my good friend Pak Leonard Tampubolon, aka Pak Leo, as a chief planner in Bappenas, and also one of our speaker today. So before we starting the meeting, allow me to introduce our speaker today, starting from Pak Mitsuhiko Kataoka. Let me read the what do you call it, the curriculum IT. Here I have it here. let's see, where's the, I get confused here. So let's see. Let's see. Yeah, so okay, I have problem with my computer here. So our speaker today, Professor Mitsuhiko Kataoka, he is a professor in College of Business Department of Global Business, and then also in the Graduate School of Business Doctoral Program in Business and Graduate School of Business Master Program in International Business of the Rikkyo University in Japan. And he hold Doctor of Arts in Development Economics and also in international international development program and also in political science. So his background is also really show us that he's really a good scholar, and he's also has many publications. But I mentioned one here since he's going to talk about this book, the book of Regional Inequality and Development Measurement and Application in Indonesia. So in the next 40 minutes, Professor Kataoka will be talking about his book, and then this is really a great honor for us. We don't. We also already understand
Pak Oswar? Sorry, Professor Kataoka, is it Pak Oswar or my voice? Can you hear my voice, Professor, or all of the participants?
Yes, I can hear. I can hear you.
Okay. So Pak Oswar probably has something going on with his internet connection. I would like to contact him.
You hear? You hear?
Pak Oswar, yeah.
Okay, so
Pak Oswar.
sorry.
Okay.
So Pak Leonard Tampu Bolon, he is a former Deputy Minister for Budget Allocation. Also, he is former Deputy Minister for Economics. So I think he's really a private person to talk about economy, about the interregional inequity in Indonesia. So before we start the webinar, allow me to talk about a little bit about our speaker today. So he's, from my understanding, he's really understand about Indonesia, because many of his book, his article in the journal talking about Indonesia, especially the inequality in Indonesia. So today he's going to talk about how I think how not how bad, how is the situation of inequalities in Indonesia, and then how to measure the regional inequality. So I think we are going to have really good understanding after this seminar regarding the regional inequality in Indonesia. So before any further ado, I would like to invite Pak Professor Kataoka to start his presentation. You have 40 minutes, Prof. Please.
Yes, thank you very much, Professor Oswald. And so that is very nice introductions. And also that, I'm very honored to have that, these opportunities. And I'm very happy to, many participants and interesting to that my, topics today. So that let me share my, PowerPoint slide. Okay. So time is limited, so I'd like to start my lecture today. So everybody, can you see my slide?
Yes, Prof. It's
Okay, good. So
It's good.
today, just I would like to, share that, my books, and so that, the title is Regional Inequalities and Development, Measurement and Application in Indonesia. Okay, so this book is, it's the seminar of this, seminars is, I would like to provide summary of the for each chapters in these books to promote through understandings. So these books is, consistent of, okay, so total page is 200, is that, so here is, there's, several, okay, so, yes, there's in total, there's 7 chapters. So we have that, first 2 chapters, or first 3 chapters, focusing on that, measurement or analytical tools, okay, and also last, 4 chapters is about, applications to that, using these kind of the inequality method to, Indonesia. So I express that, each of these chapters is briefly today. Okay. So here is first, okay, so, and then this books is, address 3 issues, okay. So first is, what is that, regional income inequalities. Okay. So second is that, introduce measurement of the regional income inequalities. Third is relationships between national economic development and regional income inequalities, especially focusing on in Indonesia. So probably, and this is a bit technical. So meaning, okay, measurement of the regional income inequalities is a bit technical, so that we use several formulas. But, even you don't understand, so that those formulas, please do not, worry about that. So you just, think about, policy implications from that findings. Okay? So I would like to, introduce, essence of our books. Okay? So this book is jointly is written with my, ex-supervisors in my, graduate school, Professor Akita. Professor Akita also has many publications of that, Indonesian income, regional income inequalities. Okay, so this picture is, taken in that, this year's is Indonesian Regional Science Association Conference in Bogor. Probably some of you attend that, conference. Okay, so this is my career. So already, Professor Oswald is introduced. I would like to skip. So first of all, I would like to have that, show that research questions. Okay, so starting from these research questions. So what is regional income inequalities? Well, what is regional inequalities? And do regional income inequalities is important issues in Indonesia? So here there is that, what is regional inequalities? So regional inequality is that, economic and social gaps between subnational regional unit. Okay. So here there is that, I just, show that, regional administrative tiers and Japan's and Indonesia's. Okay. So in Japan's is we have the 47 prefectures. Okay. Then each of the 47 prefectures has municipalities, such as cities, towns, and villages. Okay, so in total is 1,718 municipalities. Okay, so we have that mainly 2 tiers, regional structures. But compared to Japan's, Indonesia is population size is much bigger, or yes, more than twice as much as Japan's, and nearly 270 millions. So Indonesia is, nation is consists of the 34 provinces. Okay? Then, below the 34 provinces, there is a district. Okay? So Kabupaten and Kota. So here is 416 Kapubatan or 98 Kota. So this is we call the district in English. So below the Kota, there is a sub-district. Okay, so there is nearly 7,000. So here is each GDP and other social economic indicators, such as population or labor force, and those are published at province level and district level in Indonesia. So we would like to compare. So some regions and other regions, and also overall all provinces and in all districts. We would like to compare those social indicators and economic indicators such as GDPs and labor force and investment and so on. Okay. So GDP. So here is this maps is show the GDP per capita by district 2020. Okay. So here is we have the 5 island regions, and so that these darker colors is more higher GDP per capita. Okay, it's very surprisingly we can see that these areas. Okay, so central Sumatra and also northern part of the Kalimantan, some part of central Java, West Java and capital city Jakarta and West Java. And also that here is Papua Island, show that higher GDP per capita. Okay, since in Indonesia is mining sectors is plays a very important roles, so that these are we can see that higher income per capita district is scattered around the countries. Okay? So Indonesia is the world's largest island countries and 4th largest populations. And rich geographic and industrial diversities. So here is on Java regions account for that 2/3 of the national economic activities. Okay, only this is only less than 6% of the national land. Okay, and some are resource rich and some are resource poor of Java district. Shows that higher GDP per capita and lower GDP per capita. Okay? So here is very serious interregional gaps exist, and still this is very important issues in Indonesia. Okay? So this is our incentive to focus on these studies. Okay? So next is measurement of regional inequalities. So here is that we have. This is kind of the theories and basic understanding of how to use that regional inequality measurement. Okay, so here is in the regional inequality measures we can classify absolute measures and relative measures. So absolute measures is quantifies different is monetary terms using that same unit as a variable. Okay, so that we can measure that regional inequalities in Indonesian rupees or Japanese yen. If we use that, consumption expenditures or per capita GDPs. But these absolute measures, we cannot compare across the different countries. Since that, we absolute measures express that, different in monetary term. Okay? And on the other hand, relative measures, assess that average disproportionalities, these ratios, independent from unit of the scale. Okay? So here is example. Absolute measures is we use a standard deviations. Standard deviation is that GDP per capita denoted as YI is that differences between that mean values, average values of regions. Okay? Then deviation squared summations and divided by number of regions. Okay, so this is that standard deviation expressed by monetary unit. But relative measures is, for example, coefficient of the variations. Coefficient variation is standard deviation divided by the mu. Okay, so standard deviation is monetary unit. Mean value mu is monetary unit. So this is that proportions or ratios. Okay, so if we use that, coefficient of the variation, relative measures, we can compare measurement of, measures of inequalities across the countries. So normally we use that in relative measures if we measures inequalities or regional inequalities. Okay. So here is the properties of inequality, relative inequality measures. So there's several inequality measurement. Okay. So we would like to satisfy these kind of that four characteristic. So first is anonymity principle. This is anonymity principle is we don't care who is rich, who is poor. Right? So this is first principle. Second principle is scale income or income independence principle. Right? So here is measurement is unaffected by economic size. Value remain constant with income scalings. Okay? So if we have that several income distributions, and we multiplied by that twice and third times, if that there is no difference in the income distributions, that measurement is that constant. Okay? So this is scale independence principle. And population size independence principle is measurement unaffected by the number of the regions with consistent income distribution patterns. So here is that in Indonesia is 34 provinces, in Japan's 47 provinces. Okay? So we have that two different countries has a two different number of the regions. But if that measurement satisfies population size independence principle, we can compare regional income equality in Indonesia, regional income equalities in Japan. Okay? And the transfer principle is that measurement values decreased when income is transferred from rich person to poor persons. Okay? So sometimes government is invest more in poor regions to reduce the gap between rich region to poor regions. Okay? If the government do that, measurement values is going to decrease. Okay? So here is we have that four type of that properties. So here is that regional income equality measures. Okay? So there's 9 type of the regional income inequalities. We have that 4 properties which are expressed in previous slide. Right? So coefficient variations and Williamson coefficient variation, Gini, Tile, L index, T index, Atkinson class of the inequality measures. These are in red, are satisfied all 4 principles. Okay? So when you would like to conduct the measurement of inequalities, so that most of that researchers use this kind of that measurement techniques. So here is that formulas of measurement, right? And coefficient variations, Gini coefficient, Tile first index, and Tile second index, or Tile T index and Tile L index. Okay? So using these formulas, you can calculate in using the data. Right? And next, okay, so after measurement of that regional income inequalities, so that also that we are going to use that regional inequality decompositions. Okay? So regional inequality decompositions aims to identify factors influencing the overall inequalities. Okay? So we are going to disaggregate or decompose, okay, all inequalities into the sub factors. Okay. So here is regional income inequality decompositions. Okay. So we identify that fundamental method and advanced method. Okay. So this our books is covered all these methods. Okay. So here is fundamental method. We have the 2 decomposition techniques. Okay. So decomposition by regional subgroups. using that tile T index and tile L index and squared coefficient of the variation, CVs. So here this, suppose, okay. So here is the nations consist of the M regions. So here is Indonesia. It is, consists of the several regions. Okay? For example, Sumatra regions, Java Bali regions, and Kalimantan regions, and Sulawesi regions, and Papua and other regions. Okay? Then within the regions, several provinces. Okay? For example, Sumatra regions, there is that consists of the 10 regions, such as Aceh, and also North Sumatra, Riau, Bengkulu, and something. Okay, some other provinces. Okay, so here is so here decomposition by regional subgroups is we can calculate overall provincial inequalities. Okay? Decompose between region inequalities, within region inequalities. Between region inequality is inequalities between region 1 to region N. Okay? So since Indonesia is we divided in 5 regions, we can compare inequalities between 5 regions. Okay, so this is between region inequalities. And also we can measure within region inequalities. Okay, within regions, region 1, region 2, each region has a provinces. Okay? So here is inside that regions, there is also income gaps. Okay? So income gaps between Aceh provinces, North Sumatra provinces, Riau provinces, and Bengkulu provinces. Okay? So this is we call within region inequalities. So within region inequality is also, we can say, between regions inequalities. Okay? So here is that total inequalities is decomposed into 2 parts. And so that we can see which inequality is much larger. Okay? So if we see that between region inequality is much larger than, greater than within region inequalities, okay, so government should adjust between region inequalities. If the reverse within region inequality is much larger, so government focused on adjust the gap, okay, between the provinces. Okay, so this is that decomposed by regional subgroups. Okay, so another is decomposition by sectoral income source. So here is decomposition by sectoral income source is, okay, so here is, so each region's I economies is GDPs, for example, GDPs, okay, has K sectoral in total. So here is, GDP is, divided into or consists of, primary sectors and secondary sectors, tertiary sectors. Okay? So some of the, these sectors GDPs equal to total GDP in regions. Okay? So using these, properties, we can use that, Gini coefficient of the variations. Then we can divide it into, this small k is a sectors. So here is, sector case GDP per capita, and also relative ranks ratios, and also GDP per capita, okay, Gini coefficient in sector case. Okay? And also coefficient variation is also multiplicities decomposed into these 3 variables. Okay? So here is decomposition by income source is just like this. Okay? So GDP in region 1. Okay? This is sum of all provinces. Okay? And so consists of the GDP in sector 1's, region 1, and GDP is sector 2's, GDP is sector K. Okay? In total is we have the K sectors. In that cases, we have that, in previous one, we have the 3, sectors. Primaries, secondaries, tertiaries. Right? So here is, we can divide it into GDP sectorally. Using this, properties, we can, apply these, decompositions. So I would like to show that, detail later on. And also here is an advanced method, bidimensional inequality decompositions and two-stage nested inequality decompositions, factor decomposition analysis based on tile and L index. So advanced method is, using advanced method, we, this books is, apply this method into the Indonesians. Okay, so bidimensional is applied in chapter 4, two-stage nested in the chapter 6, and factor decomposition is chapter 7. So bidimensional inequality decompositions is, just combined. So coefficient variations in the regional subgroups, coefficient variation by the sectoral income source. So as I previously introduced, okay, is this slide, decomposition by the regional subgroups as measured by coefficient of the variations. Decomposition by sectoral income source also measured by coefficient of the variations. Using these coefficient variations, properties, we are going to combine, combines these, two formulas. So here is coefficient, squared coefficient of the variations divided into within regions, between region component. Okay? Then also, we can substitute these, formulas, sectoral decompositions, combine into these two, equations into, original coefficient of the variations. Okay? Then we have that, coefficient variations consist of, regional multiplied by sectors plus one component. Okay? So this is what we can do is a bidimensional inequality decomposition. Okay? So it's a bit technical, but it's also possible to and useful analytical tools. And also two-stage nested tile decompositions. Is this use at three hierarchical regional structures. Now we are just expand regional structures. So in Indonesia, we can consider three hierarchical regional structures. Okay? First is regions, second is provinces, third is district. Okay? So here is that this figure shows that these three hierarchical regional structures. Okay? So nations is consist of that several regions. Okay? So Indonesia's Sumatra, Java Valley, Kalimantan, Sulawesi, and other regions. Okay? Each region has provinces. In North Sumatra, okay, in the Sumatra regions, there's a North Sumatra provinces, Aceh provinces, Riau provinces. And within, Aceh provinces, there's a several, districts, Banda Aceh, and also some, Kota, Banda Aceh, and Kabupaten Aceh, and something. Okay? So using that, these, hierarchical structures, we can use, these formulas. Overall inequality per capita GDPs between district. A sum of between region inequality component, between province inequality component. So within province inequality component, it means between district component. Okay? So here we can measure which component is more influential to total GDPs, inequalities, overall inequalities. So this is, another advanced method. Third advanced method is factor decomposition analysis. Okay. So suppose, multiplicatively decomposed variables exist. Okay. For example, is, here is, we have that, GDPs and denoted as YI. Y is GDP without inefficiencies. And also labor force. We have the three variables. Then GDPs divided by labor force is denoted as XI. This is labor productivity. Labor productivity is multiplicatives, expressed by GDPs without inefficiency divided by a labor force. This is we called pure labor productivities. And also multiplied by, and also this is actual GDPs divided by GDPs without inefficiencies. So this is that, kind of efficiency scores. So we can, use that, this kind of that, multiplication expressions. Then here is after linearizing, we have the factor inequality decompositions. Tile index in the labor productivity is sum of Xi's tiles or is tiles and, interactions variables or terms. Interaction terms is between two variables denoted as I. This is show that if this value is greater than zeros, two variable has positives and also relations. And if this is a negative, two variables is negative correlations. Okay? So here is GDP without inefficiencies. We measured using that, data environment analysis. So here is data environment analysis. We just have that, input and output. Okay? So here is that, we have, input and output. This is a GDPs, and we have that, 5 and regions. Okay? And this, in straight line is shows that GDP has that maximum values, but some this province D or region D is below maximum values. Okay, so gap between maximum values to actual values. Okay? This is inefficiencies. Okay? We are going to calculate inefficiencies using data environment analysis. So here is that we have that these formulas. Using these formulas, we are going to evaluate and measure that which provinces is higher efficiencies, which is lower efficiency provinces. Okay, so this is that what we use that method. Then in the part 2 is in this books is covers chapter 4 and 7 is empirical applications. Okay, so using this kind of method, we would like to analyze Indonesia. Okay? So first is we focus on economic tertiarizations, output, and de-industrialization in economic inequalities using bidimensional inequality decomposition analysis. Okay? So this is chapter summaries. Okay? So here is we are going to explore, objective of these summaries, chapters. We are going to explore regional and sectoral factors influencing province level inequalities using bidimensional inequality decompositions. So here is we use just GDP data, sectors, 9 sectors, and 3 regions, and 33 provinces. So here is the major findings. So, and I also, so here is, I would like to share that, result briefly. Okay? So interprovincial inequalities this is that measured by, coefficient of the variations, from 1983 to 2019. There's some years there's missing, years because of that, we cannot get the data. And here, as you can see, this is gradually declining. Interprovincial equality is gradually declining. And from that, 1983 to, 2019, there's some fluctuations. Okay, so we would like to see why these are, declining. So what? Okay, so we would like to know the behind that, this fact. Okay, so we would like to see that, observed by sectoral aspect, industrial structures, and also regional structures. Okay. And also this is that, shares of GDPs by sectors. Okay. So here is, we can see, shares is, we divide it into that, 4 sectors: service sectors, manufacturing sectors, agricultural sectors, and mining sectors. Okay. So GDP is, service sectors is increasing. Share of the GDP is increasing. So this is the tertiarizations. Okay. Tertiary sector is expanding. Okay. And also manufacturing sectors. So another, important drivers to economic, development. Okay. So we can see that, this is inverted U-shaped curve. Okay. Inverted U-shaped curve. Okay. It's just like, U-shaped curve. So in the initially it's low, but, some, in that middle stage, it's increasing, and final stage is, moved to approaching to the decreasing. Okay, so this is manufacturing sectors. Agricultural sectors, mining sectors is, continuously decreasing. Okay. So using this, data, we would like to divide by dimensional, okay, decompositions. So this is at, region basis. This is a regions. This is a sectors. Okay. So here is we have, okay, so nearly 20, 28 decompositions. Okay. No, 30 decompositions. Okay. So here is, okay, this is contribution. In total is, inequality is, showed 100. Okay. So here is the shares of each, decomposition component. So here is Java valleys is, tertiary sectors. Okay. Java valleys tertiary sectors is, 47.6. Okay. This is majorities. Okay. So measure of that, major influencing factors to create income inequalities. Okay. So tertiary sectors in Java Valley, regions. Okay. And also that, this is increasing compared to the year of the 2010, 2019, 47.6 to 63.9. Okay. Then also that, these tertiary sectors mainly coming from, trade and hotel, restaurants, transport and international information and communications, and financial business sectors. And those sectors is expanding, okay, compared to from that, 2020 to 2019. So mainly inequalities is created by Java valleys, those 3 tertiary sectors. Okay? And also if we see the construction sectors is that also major part, okay, in Java valleys. Okay? Keys up, playing major roles to create inequalities. Okay? Because of the Java valleys there's many projects. Those, construction projects, such as, created or make a building that in a highway, or constructing that, speed, highway, speed, railroad trains. Okay. Those constructions is, very remain large because of those construction projects is mainly, located in major cities such as Jakarta and West Java and East Java. Okay. So that is also created, influence, okay, created that regional inequalities. Also manufacturing sectors, okay, declining. Okay. So this is, we would like to know more about next chapters. So next chapter, chapter 5, is we are going to see, regional income inequalities in manufacturing industries using inequality decomposition analysis. So here is chapter summaries. Also here, this chapter is we are going to use the coefficient of the variations. Okay? So focusing on the 9 manufacturing sectors. So here is 9 manufacturing sectors. Okay? So here this total is 100. Then we are going to divide into the 9 sectors. Okay? So I just we don't have time. Just I would like to show that relative concentrate coefficient. Okay, so this is if that relative RCC is greater than 1, inequality increasing sectors. If that smaller than 1 is increasing reducing sectors. Okay? So minings and basic metals and machinery transportations is this is that influencing increasing the inequalities. So these are all capital intensives. Okay? And the sectors below 1.0, this food, textile, wood, and also chemical. Okay, this food, textile, wood is labor-intensive sectors. Labor-intensive sectors is located evenly across the regions, but capital-intensive manufacturing sectors is located in the urban areas or urban provinces. So there is that those sectors is expand regional income inequalities. Okay. Okay, so third one is so next chapter 6 is we would like to use that 2-stage nested tile decomposition analysis. Okay. So here is we focused on 1997-1998 financial crisis. Okay. So using the tile decompositions. So here is so this is total inequalities is divided into 3 parts. Okay, between region inequalities, between provinces, within provinces. Okay, so here is before that financial crisis. Okay, so measure TWPs. Okay, TWPs within provinces inequality is expanding. Okay, this is expanding. That is expanding. Okay, expanding. This part is expanding. But in 1998 is okay, so decreasing is majorly this part. So here is 1997 to 1995. In total is that tile decline is minus 0.21. Okay, minus 0.21 is mainly coming from TBP, okay, between province inequalities. So these are mainly influenced is regional income inequalities decline. Okay, so this TPP is tile between provinces, okay, mainly from Java Valley regions, okay, compared to other regions such as Sulawesi, Kalimantan, and others, Sumatra, and so on. Those are increasing. Okay? But here is only Java Valley is decreasing regional inequalities. Okay? So in the 1998 and 1997 is this inequality declined. These are mainly from Java Valley provinces. Okay? And last one is that the factor income decomposition analysis. Okay? So explore the effect of the efficiency of the regional income inequalities. So here is we would like to labor productivities inequalities in the 26 provinces divided into pure labor productivities and efficiencies. Okay? As you can see that And this is the total labor productivity decreasing. Okay, consists of these three factors. So here is efficiencies is just decreasing. Okay, tile index is OE, overall efficiencies, but pure technical, pure labor productivity is increasing. So efficiency is kind of the technologies level. So that technology level among that provinces is decreasing, but pure labor productivities, okay, without efficiencies, GDP per capita, labor productivity is increasing. So this is a new policy concerns. Okay. All right, so I would like to just introduce that empirical applications in Indonesia. Right? And these books is that also we have some reviews, and this book reviews in Asian Pacific Journal of Regional Science, provided by the Carlos Mendes, professor of the Nagoya University. Okay, so he strongly recommends these books to if you would like to analyze regional income inequalities. Okay, so must read. So anyone who intend to teach and conduct research on issues related to regional inequality and development. And also that future extensions is today's seminar is just provide overview of these books. Okay? It's a bit technical. Okay, some of you and probably it's faced difficulty is understanding. Okay, so upon your request, and we offer the PC workshops covering these topics using the Stata and World Bank Indonesia's database for policy and economic research. Okay, for example, regional inequalities decomposition analysis and regional convergence analysis, explanatory special data analysis using that geographical data, and also drawing that corpus map. Okay? Using that Indonesian's database for policy and economic analysis. Okay, this data is covered province and district level variables since the year 2000. Okay, so over 200 variables is included. So upon your request, I'm very happy to deliver another workshop or lectures upon your request. Okay, also this is my publications. It's related to these topics. I'm also teaching these topics in my undergraduate master's courses. Okay. And if you have that opportunities, and please read. And also we are okay. So in the next sessions, we are very happy to discuss with you. Thank you very much for your listening and patience.
Thank you very much for the Professor Kataoka. You know what, Professor, my background was economy, but I'm the one who also having difficulties to understand the analysis method as well. Since this is already what you call it, this long time I didn't really involved in economy matters. So, but I found there's two important things that what you call it important to mention, like. There too, I think when talking about the disparity, actually we need to reduce the gaps of the labor productivity among the regions. The second is to improve the efficiency, or maybe to introduce the technology in the production process is important to also to reduce the disparity among a region. I think this is important, what do you call it, summary of your presentation. Then let's move to the next speaker, which is Bapak Leo. And then please, Pak Leo, this is your time.
Oke, thank you Pak Osbar. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebahagiaan dan rahayu. Bapak Ibu sekalian, first of all, of course, I would like to thank to Pusbin and for Pak Widno for being invited to be a discussion in this PusbinTalk webinar. Then let me give the highest appreciation to Professor Takahira Akita and Professor Mitsuhiko Kataoka for various ideas and finding outline in the book region. Even though I may not know Professor Kataoka, I have at least known and worked with Professor Akita in the past, maybe around 25 or 30 years ago. At the time, he assisted JICA in collaboration with the Fiscal and Monetary Deputy of Bappenas. Apart from his extraordinary knowledge and great attention to matters related to the industrial sector, one thing I cannot forget about Professor Akita, he always has a cheerful face and he always laugh at almost every sentence that he uses. So I still remember for that one. But back to the laptop, I think the various things conveyed in the book are very interesting, even though I think the discussion of this book is very technical and requires, like Pak Oswar said, and requires quite a lot of effort and energy to read it, let alone understand it as a whole. The things contained in it are very relevant, especially to the condition of country that are trying to become more developed. Even now, Indonesia continues to strive to reduce inequality, both inequality in terms of income and inequality in terms of development progress, viewed from an interpopulation, interregional, and interprovince perspective. And I feel that this book will be of interest to many people of Indonesia. And in terms of its contents, I think this book is very suitable to be read and studied. And this book is even suitable to be used as a mandatory book for use in school with a development studies major. And even though this book contains a technical matter, the description and finding outlined in it are very interesting. Case study that take Indonesia as the object also make this book even more meaningful to study. And like you said before, Professor, the content which only consists of 7 chapters and only 200 pages also makes people not feel burdened in reading this book. This book, like Professor already explained, began with the theoretical discussion, and the theoretical discussion is explained until the chapter and until the 3rd chapter. Only in the chapter 4 to chapter 7 is the discussion carried out on case studies which take Indonesia as a sample. I will not discuss the description in chapter 2 with describe the measurement of regional inequality, and chapter 3 which describe the analysis of regional inequality, because for a long time ago we not involved for this one anymore. But I will try to discuss a result of the finding for the chapter 4 and the chapter 7. And chapter 4 is entitled Economic Regionalization, Output Deindustrialization, and Income Inequality in Indonesia, using the bidimensional inequality decomposition analysis. This chapter, of course, try to explore determining factor of GDP per capita inequality between the province in Indonesia during the 2010 until 2019 period, using the bidimensional inequality decomposition method. In particular, this chapter tries to analyze how regionalization of the income and the industrialization of output simultaneously affect GDP per capita inequality. There are some funding, like a professor explained before, obtained from this analysis carried out. And then one of them said that the most of the inequality caused by regional inequality components. Give me a second because I have to process. Okay. Chapter 5 is entitled Structural Change and Regional Income in Inequality Indonesia Manufacturing Industry, using inequality decomposition analysis. This chapter seeks to examine how structural change in the manufacturing industry influenced regional income inequality in Indonesia during the 2010 period, 2010 and 2019. Then inequality decomposition analysis was carried out to determine the extent of the contribution of the each manufacturing subsector to interprovincial inequality in the manufacturing GDP. And the finding obtained include decreasing production in the coal, gas, and refined petroleum product sector will significantly reduce the gap between province as a whole. If this continues, this sector, of course, will play an increasingly diminishing role in determining disparities between province as a whole. The second finding, the basic metal and finished product sector is the largest contribution to inequality between provinces as a whole, followed by the transportation equipment sector. Therefore, to reduce inequality between provinces, production location must be spread across all provinces. For the chapter 6 is entitled the impact of the 1997 economic crisis of income inequality in Indonesia, using the two-stage nest tail decomposition analysis. In this chapter, a two-stage tail decomposition analysis is carried out to examine the impact of the financial crisis on regional income inequality based on district-level population on GDP data. So that apart from being able to measure interprovincial level disparity, it is also able to measure the disparity within province. The finding obtained are, first, the impact of the crisis was greatest in Jakarta, followed by the other provinces in Java and part Sumatra, which was measured by the decline in per capita income. Therefore, there is a reduction in the gap between Jakarta and other provinces in Java, with the island of Sumatra and even the entire region. So the crisis that occurred in 1998 has reduced the level of inequality in Indonesia. The last chapter, chapter 7, is entitled Interprovincial Inequality in Labor Productivity and Efficiency in Indonesia, using a factor decomposition analysis in regional quarter century. This study includes efficiency factor in a decomposition analysis that explores the source of labor productivity disparity between provinces using balance panel data in 26 provinces in Indonesia during the 1990 until 2015. For the record, efficiency and optimal output and labor productivity is expressed as the product of optimal labor productivity. The finding obtained from this study show that the further reduced labor productivity disparities between provinces, either pure labor productivity growth, increased efficiency, or both, is very important for province with low labor productivity. However, fully efficient province with lower labor productivity can no longer increase efficiency once they become fully efficient. Therefore, the government must carefully consider specific policies at the provincial level. The conclusion that can be drawn from these various of study in this book is that changes in inequality that occur in Indonesia, whether increasing or decreasing, are caused by various factors, gaps within province, gap within a region, as well as a gap between region. In the regions that underlies the preparation of this book, this gap can occur to the service and trade due to structural change in industrial subsector, change due to economic crisis, as well as the gap caused by movement in productivity and efficiency of labor. In the development of Indonesia, effort to reduce this gap are continuously being made. This is because inequality is a reflection of the ongoing injustice that occurs, both between resident and between regions. This injustice must be eliminated, and this has also been confirmed in one of the principles of Pancasila, that Indonesia used this as a for the nationality. Inequality can also trigger social jealousy, which can trigger social conflict. It must be avoided so that development can be continued. What is certain is that this gap is a negative thing, and effort to reduce it must be included in every development plan that we prepare. Therefore, the things found in the studies carried out of this book are very important. Even though the things found through this study are a reflection of the past of the result we're obtaining using past data, the pattern found in the cause and effect can be used as a basis for developing policies to reduce disparity in the future. Indeed, discussion to determine the causes of the shift in inequality in the sense of this level decreasing or increasing are still very limited. In this book, there are only 4 factors studied that influence inequality. I believe that there will be other factors that influence this gap that can be identified and may even have a bigger impact on the inequality that exists in Indonesia. Hopefully, on another occasion, the author of this book can expand the research to the other factor. If not, at least the publication of this book will trigger reader or other researchers to expand the scope of the studies that have been carried out. This will enrich the availability of research results that can be used to formulate policy that can encourage increased development. Moderator, can I present something here that I have to do the share screen?
Yes, please, Pak, you can do the share screen. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, say, Pak.
Okay,
Okay.
not yet.
Next, kelihatan nih, Pak?
Yeah, sorry.
Salin ya.
There.
Okay. Next, allow me to try to understand the application of the theories put forward in this book, the study carried out, and the finding produced by effort of that Indonesia will make, especially for future development. I hope I can get an enlightenment from Professor Kataoka here regarding to this measure. Bapak Ibu sekalian, currently Indonesia has completely the concept of long-term development planning for 2025 to 2045. Indonesia has established a golden Indonesian vision 2045, sovereign, advanced, and sustainable archipelago, or in Indonesia we call negara Nusantara yang berdaulat, maju, dan berkelanjutan. To achieve this vision, 5 targets for the Golden Indonesian Vision 2045 have been formulated. The 5 targets are per capita income equivalent to developed country, where in 2045 have been GNP per capita is targeted to reach 23 to 33,000 US dollar, with a manufacturing share of 28%. The second target is poverty becomes 0% and inequality is reduced, measured by the what they call Gini ratio. And then the leadership and influence, the number 3, leadership and influence in the international world increases, and the 4, the competitiveness of human resources increases, and the 5th is the intensify of GHG emission decreases toward the net zero emission. Achieving all this, of course, is not easy, and Indonesia must carry out economic transformation. Related to this, Indonesia has targeted economic growth and average of 6 to 7% over the next 20 years, and share of industry to increase and reach 28% in 2045. With this achievement, Indonesia will leave middle income trap in 2014 if growth is 6% per year, and in 2038, if the growth is 7% per year. For the movement, the states of economic transformation have been arranged in each 5 years period with a total of 4 stages. If we look closely these stages, we can see that the role of the industrial sector continues to increase until the third stage, and then what do you call it? And then decreases. This shows that the movement of the industrial sector share has once again formed like an inverted usage. Even though this has happened before, and it's also have been described in chapter 4 on this book. If this happened, then the experience of the movement of the industrial sector will form a twin mountain pattern and not an inverted U-shape anymore, as stated by various experts in existing theories. This is new finding that also needs to be considered to see the influence of structural change on inequality, both change in the structure of GDP as a whole, as well as structural change in the occur in the industrial subsector discussion in chapter 4 and chapter 5 in this book. Furthermore, it is necessary to rethink the concept of industrialization that has been used so far and also used in this book. In simple terms, industrialization is defined as a condition where there is a continuous increase in the share of industrial sector in national GDP in certain period. When this share decreases, the country concerned is said to be experiencing the industrialization. With this concept, the industrial sector must be driving force of growth, which means that the growth of industrial sector must always be higher than a national economic growth. This is illustrate that a country whose economic growth is only 1% can be said to be experience a period of industrialization if the growth of its industrial sector it is more than 1%, for example, only 2%. We can say this country in the period of industrialization. Regarding to Indonesia, long-term plan for 2025 to 2045, one of the mission is to return to the era of industrialization. Because the growth target is 6 to 7%, this means that industrial sector growth must be higher than 6.7%. This is a
Pak Leo, suaranya nggak kedengeran, Pak Leo.
Terus ya? Hah?
Suaranya nggak kedengeran.
Bentar ya.
Ya, udah jelas.
Oke,
Ya.
oke. Okay, this means that Indonesia has have a very industrial after the new order because the growth of its industrial sector was always lower than national economic growth, which is still in the industrial sector set to continue to decline. Even though the industrial sector is growing on average around 4% per year, which means that industrial sector is still growing. Therefore, the question is how big is the growth of the industrial sector so that a country falls into the category of experiencing industrial, and this maybe need to be studied. And lastly, I would like to raise the issue of disparities between province and region, which have been considered unequal because of the composition of the role of each province GDP in national GDP or the share of the region's GDP in the national GDP. In this case, what is often discussed is the regional inequality between the western region of Indonesia, we call it KBI, and the eastern of region Indonesia, we call it KTI. The GDP share of KBI is around 80%, and GDP of GDP, then while in KTI is only around 20%. The question that often arises whether this inequality needs to be reduced by encouraging increase in GDP in KTI and holding back the rate of the increase in GDP in the western region in Indonesia. it can be observed that the small share in the GDP in the eastern region of Indonesia is definitely correlated with the population in the eastern region, which is small in number, and the population in the west region Indonesia, which has a large number. Effort to increase GDP in KTI will require additional facilities and also maybe an increase of population by using a population transfer, which maybe disrupt the carrying capacity of nature or the environmental in KTI. Indeed, the solution to this may be appropriate with the variable used in this book, namely using per capita income. However, this can also be debate regarding whether the real value of GDP per capita in one region will be the same as the real value GDP per capita income in another region. Considering that the price level on one region is not the same as the price level in other region. Therefore, this could also be an issue that need to be considered in order to develop things related to the inequality in the future. Of this, I think the time is limited. That is the discussion that we convey. I would like to thank you for invitation. Next, I convey it back to the Pak Aswar, so Smart Moderator. Thanks, Pak Aswar.
Thank you, Pak Leo. Before I go to the next section, which is question and answer, I would like to a little bit summarize the talk of the Pak Leo. I think there are two important things in our long-term development planning. One is, of course, the how to increase the income per capita, and then to make our nation to be a big four or big five. And then the second is how to lower the poor reach up to 0%. It is quite, I don't know, I mean, it's quite possible or impossible. And then, of course, to lower disparity. I think these two questions is aligned with your presentation, Professor Kataoka. And then the other thing is that we have like conventional or traditional issues between Western area and versus what do you call it, Eastern region or area. I think this is quite important to answer how to solve this problem because the Western and the Eastern is quite different. The contextual disparity is not one of the problem. I think this is two main what do you call it, issues that I got from the Pak Leo's talk. And then Pak Kataoka, I think you have enough time to answer the what you call the comment from Mr. Pak Leo. And then, of course, you have one question from the chat, but before I invite you to make a comment on comment of the Pak Leo first. Please, Pak Professor Kataoka.
Thank you very much for that, a perfect summary of my presentations and my books, and I very appreciated Pak Leo's. And so that could you repeat? Probably I missed that your questions, Pak Leo's. Could you repeat that your question again?
I think Pak Leo, please. I mean, yeah. I think it's much better if you ask directly to Pak Kataoka.
Pak, saya ini nggak jalan.
Okay.
I think it's the question. I need a suggestion for you that it is.
Pak Leo, ya.
Huh?
Ya, oke. Tadi on off, ya. Please.
Okay. First I want to say about is there any possibility or there is a good experience for the country? There's the the process industrialization and deindustrialization is having more than one time. So the curve is not inverted U-shape, or if it is happen again, means best the curve will be from the two mountain, something like that. What do you mean by industrialization here? Okay.
Okay, so we don't say that industrialization. Okay, so in our books we don't define clearly about industrializations. But in my understanding, industrialization is that transformed from that traditional sectors to the modern sectors. The traditional sectors we defined agriculture or labor intensive, and also that capital saving sectors. So here is we observe the tertiarizations is that in that chapter 4 in that empirical applications is just chapter 4 is we would like to see that the share of that service sector is increasing is in the national level, and then also that in our bidimensional decomposition analysis is associated with the tertiarizations. Some tertiarizations economies, tertiarization sectors is consists of that hotel and trade, and also that financing is information sectors and communications. Those are also financial sectors. Those are located mainly in urban areas or developed regions, such as Jakarta is also that smart. Surabaya and so on, but those sectors is not spread it out to that other less developed regions. So tertiarizations is knowledge-intensive sectors is that is kind of that part of the industrialization process, but this is only located in that very specific areas. So that is kind of that some positive point. Okay, so in those things is created. That or driving force of interregional income inequalities. So this is what what we said in our books.
Okay.
And Professor Kataoka, I mean, I think we have, as mentioned by Pa Leo, we have two important things regarding our long-term plan. Two important, what do you call it, the target regarding the long-term development plan. We are talking about, especially we are talking about how to lower disparity in Indonesia. I think it is interesting to hear from you. It's like I don't know. I mean, what kind of solution that you can provide us regarding the how to lower disparity in Indonesia after you find some conclusion in your book.
Outro or outliers? What are you saying?
I mean, in our long-term development planning, we are talking about our target is to lower disparity among the provinces in Indonesia. I mean, it is interesting to know from you regarding the solution. I mean, is there any new solution for our old problem here in Indonesia? Please.
Okay, so that that one of the main solutions to reducing the inequalities. So increasing that interregional mobilities, interregional trade, expanding interregional trade, or interregional labor mobilities is improved. So that so far is in Indonesia is that the country is developed big transportation networks such as highway systems, and also that speedy trains. It's that railroad systems. So those kind of that improving that transportation networks between the regions, between the provinces. Okay? So that is expanding the economic activities from the main part to the main region to outer regions. Okay, so that now it's okay. So here is we can see that Indonesia is gradually declining interregional inequalities, province level. So because of that, people are moving or people are trading across the regions. Okay? So that kind of things is contribute to decrease inequalities among the provinces, okay? And also avoid to creating enclave economies. Okay? So especially in Papua, okay, is that there's very good very active economic activities in mining sectors. Okay? So in Papua there's very huge income gaps in one regions is which is promoting the mining sectors in surrounding regions. Okay? So that is kind of that in Papua there's many enclave economy systems. One part is very expanding the economic activities, but the neighbors has still conducting that labor intensive agricultural industries. Okay? So avoid these kind of things. Okay? So that is kind of that one of the solutions.
Okay, thank you, Prof. And we have two participants who raise questions here. Let me read it first. The first one from Tommy Indra. He is attendance of MPKP program. This is a graduate program in the University of Indonesia. He is already left the meeting because he has a class. He's a student, so he has a class. And his question is, how did you choose the analytical methods and data sources for your empirical studies on regional income inequality in Indonesia? And what are the advantages and limitations of them? So this is about analytical method and data. How did you choose? And then what about the advantages and limitation? So this is the first question. So please answer this question first, and then I will talk about the second question. Please, Pak Professor.
Okay, thank you very much. And let me share my slide. Okay. Okay, so just I'm created is that the question from that Pa Indra and who is professors. Okay, so how? Okay, so as already Oswald said is, yes. How did you choose that analytical method and yes. data source and your empirical studies in regional income inequalities in Indonesia? What are the advantage or limitations there? Okay, so if that you have the GDP per capita data, it's regional subgroups, right? So you can have that tile using the tile and coefficient variation the decompositions, right? So if you have the GDP per capita by industrial sectors, right? So you can have that you can decompose in using the Gini coefficient and coefficient variation decompositions. Okay? So here is using if you have that these two type of the data. Okay? So here is coefficient variations and covered both two. So you can use bidimensional decomposition analysis. Okay? Then what is advantage and limitations? Okay, so one of the advantages is we can analyze, we can conduct research, very few variables. So if we have here is only one or two variables. Using one of the two variables is many observations is we can conduct some analysis. We can say some things, especially okay. So Indonesia has a very rich data. Okay, so BPS and also Bapenas is a very hard work to share this kind of the data. It's okay, but some developing countries such like Vietnam and also that Cambodia, they don't have not so much data or variables. In that cases, we can use that, this kind of that, technique is very applicable to conduct research. Okay, so limitation of them is there's, in this analysis, there's no, we cannot examine cause and effect. Okay, why? Here is we just says, tertiarization is progressive. Okay? So, but we don't know that, we cannot examine relation between tertiarizations and economic development. So, because of that, there is no, this, not, examine the cause and effect relations. Okay, so it's kind of, this is a descriptive, analysis. But still, work for that, to provide some important policy implications. So this is my answers of the first questions.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Regarding the second question, I think you already read the question, but let me read it first.
Yes.
That, what do you think about our new capital, right? We are going to move to the new capital. And then actually the question is, if we have this capital later on, what do you think about the impact of our new capital to the interregional inequality in Indonesia? Do you have any what you call reference to this kind of situation?
Okay, so okay, thank you very much for the second question. The second question is that, what is the impact of relocate new capital from Jakarta to other Kalimantan Island? Okay, so I don't have any previous
Yes,
studies.
okay.
Okay, but one possible one possible event is happened. So if that the government would like to establish a new capital in the outer island in such as Kalimantan, probably initially that buildings is contribute, the building or construction project is contributed to GDP, economic activity in specific regions. Okay? So, but that there is if that there is no transportation network, from a new capital city to outer areas. Okay? So this is lack of economic linkage, interregional, industrial, or economic linkage not exist. New capital and among the new capital. So it means there's a huge economic gap. It's generated. New capital cities and outer or suburb areas. So new capital in the neighboring cities is that very huge economic gaps until that road construction network, road transportation network is established. Okay? So I don't know, that kind of things is probably negative effect or positive effect on that areas.
Okay.
This is one possible situations.
Prof, I have personal questions regarding the new capital. Do you think I mean, the impact, the positive impact of the this new capital would be big enough to push our economy in the future?
Yes, positive is probably yes, and now is in line with the tertiarizations is many economic activities is concentrated on Jakarta or Jabodetabek. Okay? So to avoid such kind of that excessive concentrations.
Okay.
Right? Probably that is probably positive point. Okay? But this is kind of a trade-off. Okay. So this excessive concentration of the Jakarta or Jabodetabek is worked by the market mechanisms. Okay. Is established by the market mechanisms. So that market mechanism is new capital relocations is intervenes, stopped. That kind of the market mechanisms of concentrate on the Jabodetabek. So probably that is also affected to national economic, growth. So here is, positives and negative point is also exists. This is kind of the trade-off. So that, and this, to solve the trade-off, the Indonesian people discussed, discussed among this about these topics and reach that, and also make the consensus.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Maybe later on we are going to have this discussion regarding the
Yes,
new.
thank you very much for very good, important policy issues.
Yeah, and then we have questions from Mr. Andika, Mr. or Miss Andika, I don't know. I mean, but he's a planner from Dinas Perikanan of East Belitung, Belitung Timur. This is one of province in Sumatra. He's talking about the. His question is how to make GDP in Indonesia evenly distributed, while each region has different problem and has various characteristics. And as Pak Leo mentioned before, that one of our big problem is our population is distributed. Our problem is like Papua. The population is only in a small portion compared to Java. So is it something that what we call it influence our interregional disparity? I think this is the question from Mr. Andika. Please, Prof.
Can I answer first?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
so,
he's talking about the evenly distributed of economy in Indonesia. And then he's talking about, look, Java is totally different with Papua. Papua totally different with Sumatra. So what do you think about this problem? And then the impact to the distribution of economy or interregional disparity. Please, Prof.
Okay. GDP concentration Java actually have. So okay, so she's asking that about evenly distributed of the economic activities.
Yeah.
So the one major solution is just relocate.
Yeah.
Of that productions or economic activity from the Java Valley Island to outer island. Okay, so this is that associated with that policy objective to new capital relocation project. Okay? So, but as I mentioned, that is trade-off. Okay? So we can that if government to do so, that the country achieve that reduce that economic inequalities or interregional income inequalities, but to sacrifice national economic growth. Okay? So reason why many economic activities concentrate on Java Valley Island because of that more profitable, more efficient. If that consumers or yes, providers is investors is start a business in Java Valley Island because of that it's more profitable if that those investors start a business in non-Java Valley Island, Java Valley regions. So it means here is Java Valley Island has that more profitable, more higher labor productivities. Invest those areas is those investors get higher returns. But if those investors start a business in Java regions or Java provinces, it means this is reduce that income gaps, but sacrificed more profitable, more efficient business opportunities. Right? So this is what this is my answers to that from the questions.
So my understanding is how to make sure that Papua and other eastern region as efficient as Java and Sumatra, right? So,
yes,
okay.
yes. yes, yes, government interventions.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. And then the question, the second question from Mr. Andika goes to Pak Leo. This is a really important question, Pak Leo. What are the biggest obstacles to achieving the Golden Indonesia 2045, and how should we as a planners prepare for it? Please, Pak Leo. This
I
is
think
important
there is
question.
a lot of, I think there is a lot of barrier to achieve this, because you know that this is I told already that it's not easy, not easy to reach the to reach the GNI 23,000 to 23,000 to 30,000. But if you look at in the if we look at to the book that explain about the masih putus-putus, Pak?
Masih sedikit.
Kedengaran?
Ya, udah.
Oke.
Kayaknya Pak Leo harus ke depan duduknya.
Hah?
Agak ke depan duduknya kayaknya.
Saya pindah lah ke dekat providernya.
Ya.
But if you look at for the document for the RPJB right now, we have a economic transformation that we have to change. We transfer everything. So we try to reach all of this. Even everybody said that this is too difficult to reach, but we have to believe that it can be reached. If you said the problem is a lot of problem, we have to we have to also support the industrialization. Must happen. And we have to look at all of the comment and said how we reach this number, how to reach the golden Indonesian in the 2045 already described in the step that we already put in the RPJP document.
Okay. Okay, Pak Leo. So since time is up, and then I have to end this session. Thank you to Pak Professor Mitsuhiko Kataoka. It is very important lesson learned today. I also learned from you regarding how to measure the interregional disparity, and then of course the summary of the book should be important to be our what do you call it, our next future. And then of course thank you, Pak Leo, for your attendance today. And then before I close this session and then give it back to the MC, I would like to apologize for the something that I made a mistake in this session. And then hopefully we can meet later on in our next webinar. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi. Back to the MC.
Thank you very much, Pak Oswar. Can you clearly hear my voice?
Yeah. Clear and loud.
Thank you, Pak Oswar, Prof. Kataoka, and also Pak Leo. For today's webinar, we are coming to the end, but before that, I have some announcement for you all. Okay, so Pusbin Diklat and Bapenas actually distributed and also published some of magazines and also journals. So for everybody here who wants to read our magazine, Majalah Simpul Perencana, please kindly download it through this link, bit.ly/simpul. And also we published 3 journals. The first one is the Journal of Indonesia Sustainable Development Planning, or GSTAP. It is indexed in Sinta 3. You can also download all of the author guidelines and how to submit a paper through this link. And we also published Jurnal Perencanaan Pembangunan, or the Indonesian Journal of Development Planning. It is also indexed in Sinta3, and you can also download all of the publication format through this link. And the other one is the Bappenas working papers, which you can also publish your paper written in Indonesia, because the other journals, the GPP1 and also GSDEP, is in English. So for the Bappenas working papers, please kindly visit this link. That's all probably the additional information from the Center for Planners, Development, Education, and Training. And Bapak Ibu, for all of the participants who have not submitted attendance list, please kindly submit your daftar hadir or attendance list through the link that has been distributed through the chat link, and we will distribute the certificate later on this link. Probably our team, can you help to share the link to download the certificate? But the certificate will not be ready today, Bapak Ibu, so probably give us for about 2 weeks, and later we will announce the link also through our social media platform, Instagram, @PusbinDiklatren. So if you haven't followed the social media of PusbinDiklatren, please kindly follow our social media. And we are very grateful to have Professor Kataoka, and also Pak Leo, and also Pak Oswar for today's webinar. Thank you very much. We hope that our discussion today can be beneficial for all of us. And we would like to invite Pak Rikkyo, who's still trying to join us. Pak Rikkyo, are you here already? We detect your name on the list, participant list. To close this webinar today, we know.
Okay.
Pak
Okay,
Rikkyo,
thank you
please,
very
Pak
much,
Rikkyo.
Celita. Yes, good morning, everyone. Especially, we would like to give appreciation, the high appreciation, especially to our sensei, Kataoka sensei, and also discussion, Pak Leo, as well as Pak Oscar as a moderator, and all of the participants. Again, thank you very much. I hope that the topic will be beneficial for you, especially to increase our knowledge, our information about the one of the important topic in Indonesia right now. And of course, we are waiting for your input, your suggestion about the next program. And we also will be happy to invite one of you, especially to be one of our speaker in the future. Okay, thank you very much, all of the speakers, as well as the participant. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before we end our session, Bapak Ibu, please could you turn on your video to take a picture together? And we would like to ask your consent, because we want to publish this photo through our social media, Instagram @PusbinDiklatren. So please kindly open your video, and we would like to take the pictures for the first slide. Mas Kiki, can you help us? I will count. 1, 2, 3. Next, Mas Kiki, please lead the session. Slide 2. 1, 2, 3. The third slide. 1, 2, 3. The fourth slide. 1, 2, 3. If Bapak Ibu wants the photo also, please kindly take a picture of yourself and the screen. Fifth slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, Bapak Ibu, that's the end of our webinar today. We are very grateful to have you all. The 500 people is still in this room Zoom. And also there are some people joining us also through the YouTube. So Bapak Ibu, if you want to rewatch all of the Professor Kataoka session and also Pak Leo session, please kindly visit our YouTube channel. They will be ready in one day, so you can access it tomorrow at 10 a.m. You can rewatch it and share it to your friends if you don't mind. And the certificate will be available 2 weeks from now through the link that will be distributed in our social media platform at PusbinTalk. So that's all for today. Thank you very much, Pak Kataoka, Professor Kataoka. Thank you very much, Pak Leonard Tampu-Bolon. Pak Leo, thank you. And also Pak Oswar. Thank you very much for today, Bapak. Thank you, Bapak Ibu. Enjoy your day today. Good morning. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Julieta. See you
Yes, thank
soon.
you, Prof. See you.
See you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Pak
Sampai jumpa.
Oswar. Thank you very much. Ya, sampai jumpa, Prof. Thank you.